Good morning, Facebook. Well, more like afternoon. Um, I do videos from time to time, but right now, my video today is out of respect for my mom. Um, 20, 22 years ago, and everybody has probably been keeping up with me for like the past 6 or 7 years. I always, post pictures of her, and, say rest in peace, because of the fact that, she passed away when I was 16. Yesterday made 32 years, and it was kind of hard. I'm not 32 years, 22 years. Yesterday was a little more difficult than usual, dealing with her passing for me. So I just chose not to do or say too much of anything other than a repost. In the 22 years my mom has been gone, me and my baby sister, Dee Dee, have probably in the 22 years of her being gone spent maybe 3 of those years together. We haven't been in each other's presence on, the day that my mom has passed. And normally me and my little sister don't do a whole lot of a lot of talking on that day, whether it be via social media or over the phone. But like I said, yesterday was a little harder because normally in 21 of the no 20 years, 2 of the 22 years that she's been gone, I've been in North Carolina. Able to go to a gravesite, able to just, sit and, go to different places, where she's from, which is Salisbury, North Carolina, Rowan County. And, and she touches me as I go through those days, as I would go through the day, going to those different, places. Yesterday, like I say, was the first time that I've actually not been there, and I know I'm not there in North Carolina because of her. The other 2 times, it was my own fault. It was, me making decisions for myself. But this time, it wasn't just about myself. It was about, her setting me up for success. And my sister, kind of made me feel good yesterday. She was actually being my little sister. She made me laugh because I used to call her Booger Sugar when we were growing up. But my mom has touched a lot of people, and we run across people that if you meet 100 people that know a person, that 100 people that know that person, there's always at least, 1 or 2 that have something negative to say about them. But in 22 years, traveling traveling between 3 states, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina, I've never heard anyone say anything negative about her. If you ask family about my mom, the one thing about her is that everybody says it's a collective whole. Well, she was a sweetheart. She was heaven sent. She didn't cut anybody no corners when it came to her little cousins. And it took me a long time to realize that the way my mom, treated her siblings, she treated her little cousins, she treated her older cousins, her aunts, her uncles. She never gave anybody less than her best. And that's just family members. I have one cousin that even still to this day, she rides me. And, she rides me hard. And I appreciated it when she used to do it when I was younger, but I understand it more now And like I said, my mother has been setting me up for success way before she passed away. And I know a lot of people, don't believe in spirits, and some do, and which I really don't care. But my mother being gone, has been a bigger blessing to me than her being here on earth. I would love my mom to have been here to see my kids, but my cousin Joanne, she told me once that no matter what I do, she will always do me and treat me and say to me the things that I need that my mom would have done with her and the rest of her little cousins, and they hold me to that standard. I never understood what my mother's standard was because of my mother's past. My mom had, she had personal issues. My mom dealt with, some personal demons, with drug addiction. I say it with pride. My mother's drug addiction allowed me to see some things that most teenagers don't never get to see. Going to NA meetings and sitting in there listening to people. I make light of it now, to sit back and remember those times when you sit in those meetings and people say, hi, I'm Jimmy. Hi, I'm Jimmy. I'm a drug addict. But, to see it then, I used to be like, what the heck is wrong with them? But now where I'm at, I understand it. But, my mom's addiction never showed through the way she treated people. She never tried to get over on anybody. She never, I never heard her name in the street. I never heard anybody say, that lady Lisa, I just didn't, I don't F with her. She's this, she's that. Everybody that knew her and that I've met loved her. It's amazing, like I said, to go from 3 different states and to never hear anything negative about a woman. And I mean nothing. I'm talking about even when she was in her teens, guys and females that knew her, even the ones, that she got in fights with, still have nothing negative to say about her. I met a woman about a year or two ago, a guy I went to college with named Bruce. His mom used to work with my mom back in 1988. And I met her in North Carolina, Salisbury. And she's from North Philly, the neighborhood I grew up in. And she sat there, she said, I showed her a picture of my mom, and she turned around, she was like, I know her. She said, how's she doing? I was like, she passed away. And when I told her she passed away, she looked at me, and a tear came in her eye. She said, that was the sweetest woman I know. She said, oh my God, she said, I miss her. And to hear somebody say that knew her when she first started, when her addiction first began, and to meet a woman that knew her that far back, and to meet her almost 20-something years later, 30-something years later, and to hear somebody say how sweet she was and how much they loved being around her because of the presence and the aura that she brought to the table. And then to turn around and people don't know it, and I'm letting the world know. My mother was 33 years old when she died. My mother dealt with drug addiction. My mother had 2 degrees, and she got both of those degrees while she was on drugs. She went back to school and got her high school, her GED after she gave birth to me. She gave birth to 2 children. And for her to turn around and give birth to 2 children, a hard-headed little boy and a sweet and innocent little girl, and to turn around and to finish high school in her early 20s and then go back and get her degree as a certified nurse in the state of Philadelphia, and then turn around years later, go back in the biggest part of her addiction to become a certified phlebotomist in in the state of New Jersey and work for the New Jersey State prison system, that tells you the character and the drive that woman had. She had something that a lot of people don't have. She just didn't have the ability to deal with her addiction because she was dealing with other issues on the other side of it. And y'all had to excuse me for the tearing up, but you know, and for me to turn around and that's what I came from, and not nothing against my dad, but that's what I came from. That's the stock that gave birth to me. I have no reason not to succeed, none. And I feel the same way about my children. My mother set an example. She didn't just set that example for me. She didn't just set that example for my sister. She set that same example for her sisters and her brothers and her nieces and her nephews and her little cousins. She did the damn thing. The only thing was she couldn't handle her addiction. People, we have no excuse not to be able to do anything. I'm making this video because of the respect that I have for her. I'm making this video because I want people to understand that just because you got a struggle or things don't look the way that you want it, nobody stops you from getting to where you want to get to. You stop yourself. I'm 38 years old. I went back to college at 30. I'm 38 years old. I went back and got my GED at 23 years old. I went back and got my GED with 4 children. You know, the opposition that I had in front of me, a lot of people don't know what some do. You know, I'm not going to go into it because at this point, that opposition is irrelevant to where I'm going in my life. You know, my children are not in opposition. My children are a challenge to me to do better by them. They may not understand it, you know, what the decision, they may not understand the decisions that I'm making and that I make. And I understand that. But guess what? My mother made sacrifices and my mother did things that I did not understand as a kid. But as an adult, I get it. It took me years to get it, but I get it. Teach your children. Give your children something to strive for. Give your children something to work towards. Give your children a positive image. And understand that they may not get it now, but they're going to get it at some point. But I mean, you know, my mom did that. You know, Lisa Paulette Robbins, she did that. You know, she did some things, you know, that some people just couldn't do. She didn't become the success that she wanted. You know, she didn't feel like she was doing the things that she could. But, you know, she blessed me to be where I'm at. You know, 5 years of college, and from 30 years old till I was 34, you know, and here I am now, you know, I'm working in higher ed. You know, I'm just beginning my life, you know, for where I feel like I'm headed to. So, you know, as I say again, rest in heaven, Mom. I know your hand is on my shoulder. You know, there's no doubt about it. And I know you can continue to walk with me. I know you can continue to look over your grandchildren. And, you know, and I thank you for it. And for those who watch this video, thank you for watching it and taking the time out, you know, to see a part of my mom, you know, that only I can explain. I mean, other people have other things they can say about it, but right now it was about me letting my mom know that I love her. I appreciate her. And I won't fail, because failure is not an option. I don't care who gets in my way, but I will not fail, because failure, I just can't. And thank you.